Thanks for joining us for another Kickstarter conniption. Today we're looking at the Artemis Odyssey, and this is from Grand Gamers Guild.
And as always, we want to make sure that you're aware that our Kickstarter conniption videos are sponsored in part by our own Kickstarter backers, as well as by the creators of this game. Hey guys, and welcome to Tangent Round Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're looking at the Artemis Odyssey. This is from Grand Gamers Guild, and it's coming to Kickstarter soon. This is a remake of the classic game Ad Astra from Bruno Faidutti and Serge Laget. This has been reimagined and illustrated in the Artemis Project world from Christian Romero. So this is set a few generations after that game, also from Grand Gamers Guild.
In this game, humankind has finally discovered the ability to travel to distant stars. They'll be trying to explore alien planets and uncover and unearth special treasures. We were given this prototype copy of the game to check out for preview purposes. So in the video, you'll see that we're not trying to share opinions or critique. We're just trying to give you an overview of how the game is played so that you can make an informed decision on the Kickstarters. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it's played.
To set up the game, you'll put out the planning board, give each player all of their components for their color, and place out all of the resource cards on the table.
You'll then lay out all of the stars and the appropriate number of planets for your player count.
Players will place their point tracking tokens on the 7, determine a start player, and then you're ready to begin.
In turn order, players will select an action card from their hand, and they may play it into any location on the planning board.
You'll continue this around and around until the planning board is full, and then it's time to begin revealing the cards.
Actions include things like moving your ship around the galaxy,
harvesting specific resources or trading them with other players in the bank,
using resources to build new structures,
or collecting victory points based on specific scenarios.
Each time a player moves to a new star system, they will get to discover a planet and harvest its resources.
If they discover an alien planet, they may collect an alien artifact card. These powerful one-time use cards allow you to break the normal rules of the game, collect additional victory points at the end of the game, or generally make your actions more effective.
When one player reaches 77 points, or when the last planet on the board is discovered, players will finish the round, and then the player with the most points wins. In the game, players will be attempting to dominate the galaxy by spreading out their fleet and building different structures on all the different planets in the galaxy. Players can build a number of different things, and in the final version of the game, it will actually feature minis. We're obviously looking at prototype components in this version of the game. They can build things like additional ships or terraformers. They can build colonies or factories. Each of those different structures is going to gain them additional resources from those planets whenever they play that harvest card. And so players will be attempting to play their programmable cards out onto the table in a specific order so that they can spread out, build, grow, and get lots of points.
So to explain the programming part of that, the first phase of each round, players will take turns playing the card out, and then as they're revealed, the player who played that card will get to take the action first, and then they get to decide what order the other players get to take the action in. So especially on the move action, it can become advantageous to pick a specific order, especially if you're trying to hurt somebody who is way ahead and let them get last choice so they have less choices available to them. And then the next card in line is revealed, and that player who plays that card will take the action first and then decide who does next. Some cards have a choice on them, and the player that played the card will get to choose. The harvest cards will have 2 different resources available, and every planet of that type will harvest. Some of the point cards will also have an award to them based on the requirements. So it might be the most spaceships. So if you play that card, the spaceships will all score. If you happen to have the most, you'll gain a 2-point bonus. Everyone will get to score, especially for spaceships, because everyone has a spaceship starting the game off. But then whoever has the least will get a 2-point penalty for that type of card.
Now, the interesting thing about the cards is that all the cards will come back into your hand at the end of each round, except for those score cards. They will get set aside until you've played all of the score cards in your hand, and then you can pull them back in, which means that you've got to be strategic about what order you play those in, because you don't want to play one quick out of the gate and lose the 2-point bonus. You want to make sure that you have the most when you're playing it. And the interesting thing is somebody else could play a scorecard right before you and shake up everything, which is crazy. Being the last scorecard that's on the time track will also determine who gets to be the start character for the next round. Sometimes it can be valuable just to play a scorecard to be able to become the start player for a couple of rounds, because not every round a scorecard is going to come out.
Yeah, there are also times where you will encounter an alien planet instead of one of the resource planets. When that happens, you can gain an alien artifact card instead of one of the resource cards. Some of those cards are very valuable in the game. They're either straight up points, or some of them give you a one-time use ability. And some of those abilities are things like you can choose for the player who played the card which symbol to use. So you may have them, instead of deciding to harvest water, you may have them harvest food instead, which will benefit you.
Yeah, the alien cards are pretty powerful. In the game, you don't get any resources from being on those planets, but you do get victory points. And so as you discover each planet, you do get, if you're the first one going there, you get to peek and see what the planets are. You get a resource card immediately. When all of the planets in the entire game have been flipped over and discovered, which does take longer to happen than you might think it would, then the game ends. Or if you reach 77 points on the score track, you play the final round, and then the player who manages to collect the most points for the game wins.
Yeah, if this sounds like something you're interested in, you can check out the Artemis Odyssey from Grand Gamers Guild. It's on Kickstarter soon. And as always, we thank you for subscribing and liking us here at Tantrum House.
As they build additional structures, they'll be building things like planets.
Building planets, wow.
The cool people will. Terraformers, colonies, and eventually factories that will garner is the word I'm looking for. One more time.
This will go in. So there's places in the game. Sorry, I'm just going all over.
We did it. Made it. Got it all the way.